the real reason why America assassinated the general of Iran is not being televised on TV, and I'm gonna no fluff you and tell you the story. Hey gang, this is Mike with MrNoFluff.com, and what you don't understand is what the TV doesn't want to tell you. So if you watch normal TV, right, CNN, NBC, Fox, then more than likely you're brainwashed into the narrative that corporations want me and you to believe. Because what they want is war, war, war. What they want is us to send our friends, to send our family members, and come back in body bags. Why they profit as more eyeballs watch their TV shows. Now, I'm going to share with you, in my opinion, why did we as Americans assassinate another general in Iran. Okay, now I love America, but I'm not for war. I'm for peace. I'm for prosperity. I'm not for a couple of group of people like the bankers and Lockheed Martins making all the money when my friends from high school, my friends from college come back in body bags because they are in the military. Okay, so before I get into my story, I want to tell you, just yesterday I met two sellers that I went to their home. Okay, I'm a real estate investor, and both of these sellers, by some miracle, are military soldiers that were wounded, right, and now they're here, and it just blew me away. Like, back to back, I met two sellers. Okay, one was a Mexican dude, the other one was a white dude, and both of their cars says Purple Heart because they were wounded in Afghanistan or in Iraq, what have you. And I'm thinking to myself, most of us don't realize this. We're sitting here in a comfort of our home, and there are people that have to go thousands of miles to a different country, give their lives away, at the same time massacre millions and thousands of innocent people because of a handful of people, like the deep state, like the elites. Now, the real reason why America wants to go to war, number one, is that if you don't know, the economic collapse. Now, we're in a situation where the history of America, we never had negative interest rate. The history of America, we never had interest rate being as low they are today. In the history of the world, all the way back to Babylon, the interest rates have never been where they are, ever. Okay, we are having countries in Europe implement already negative interest rate. So there is no secret that we're having a global slowdown. There is no secret that the petrodollar is losing its power. There's no secret that the US Big Brother is spending more and getting into more debt than it produces. That's no secret, okay? There's no secret that more and more Americans are have to rely on credit cards and debt to fuel their everyday expenses or to fuel their businesses and their dreams. And the reason for that is because of central banking, the Fed printing of money. And what that has done has made not only most people in America with college degrees can't afford to pay for their lifestyle if they live in these cities, and what has made it do is they have to have the wife work, the wife works, the husband works, they both have to work just to be able to pay bills. And then on top of that, they have to, guess what, use a credit card to make ends meet. And this is, I don't care how high you are in the educational food chain, if you're a PhD professor or if you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you're a trash picker, you're just an office lady, you're just a whatever, the story is more than likely the same. The credit card debts are high, the cars are not paid for, the education is being paid for, this house is blah blah blah, vacations on credit card, everything's just on credit. And that's not the way to live, because what that does is creates war. Because as us as Americans, we have to go to Venezuela and try to steal their gold and steal their resources. We have to go to Guatemala and take their resources. We have to go to all these countries in the Latin America and overthrow their government or cause chaos for us to be able to extract their resources, right? And the same thing has happened exactly in the Middle East, guys. So going back to story number one, why did we kill and assassinate a foreign person? It's not what the TV says, okay? Now, I'm not saying that guy is a good guy or a bad guy. I personally don't like the Iranian government. That I'm personally Persian, and I flee Iran because the government is titanic, right? They don't even let you practice your own religion, or if you don't want to have a religion, they'll kill you, etc. So I'm not defending them, but at the same time, I don't want war for my friends to coming back in body bags or missing limbs or whatever. I mean, we can see today the Americans that go to war come back. Suicide is all-time high for soldiers, right? Because it's not normal. Now, there are people in every country that want war because they profit. They get to be warmongers. They get to be the elites because they make the planes, they make the bombs, or they're the bankers that lend Big Brother the money to get the bombs and whatever, okay? But the average worker of Iran, the average worker of China, the average worker of America, they don't want this because their kids are the one that's going to come back in body bags. And I know no one wants to think about that, but that is the truth. So the number one reason I believe that, in my opinion, why we took out some guy, some bad guy, right, is number one is economic collapse. It's happening to America, and we're the world's reserve currency. If the dollar loses faith, the empire of America will collapse very, very quickly because it's not backed by gold, real money. Okay. Number two reason is that gentleman that they killed, massacred, whatever you want to call it, right? He was a very, very genius military guy, right? I mean, back in the day of Iran and Iraq war, which I lived there, I was just a little kid, right? I remember like being like, I don't even know, like 1 year old, 2 years old, but the dramatic part of being in a war, right? Because it was Iran and Iraq at a war. It was a proxy. America was funding Saddam Hussein. It was selling them the gas that they were using to gas the people. They were selling the missiles, the guns, right? And Russia was funding Iran, right? And that's why there's a relationship with Russia and Iran still, because a lot of people don't know their history. Back in the days, well, America threw the elected president of Iran, and they installed a puppet, right? We call it the Shah. Now, a lot of people, like my parents, love the Shah, and I really was a kid. I really can't make up my mind. But what I do know is that anytime that we overthrow some government's existing government and we put a puppet in there, right, is because we want to extract their natural resources. If it's gold, if it's bananas, if it's whatever. Now, a lot of you guys say, Mike, you're crazy, you're not American, whatever. But please do your research, because the problem is people don't research, right? If you research into Latin America, you can see that CIA has overthrown so many government agencies there because they wanted to have the bananas, they wanted to have their coffees, they wanted to have their gold, they wanted to have their resources. And if you just research that, same thing with the Middle East. Now, the second reason that I think that they killed the gentleman is because the guy was a genius, because he was, back in the days, in the war, he was a very seasoned general. He was in the war with Iran and Iraq, then he was war with the ISIS, and so on, so on. So he was a guy that didn't go to like West Point and just read it through a book and maybe seen this much military. He was a guy that has seen military all his life. He was in war for 8 years with Iraq and Iran, and he went to another war. So he was a very, very seasoned old guy. And we wanted to take that guy out because he had a lot of skills, and it makes a whole lot of sense, right? You want to take out the guy that has the most skills, so they don't defeat you, right? And that's my opinion, because the guy was a very genius military general, and they want to take this dude out because of the ability that he has, all right? And there's no secret, guys. If you go and Google, America hold a war between Iran and Iraq, and guess what? The American general came and back reported that, hey, if we did, the Iranians would overtake us, right? So you can see why we want to cut off the snake's head, so that guy that has all the skills and experience is not here in the next move, okay? The number three reasons why I think that we take out this guy is, you got to think about it. We're America, we're playing not checkers, we're playing chess. And so what we're trying to do is take 50 steps, 25 steps ahead to set the Iranians up for them to attack us. That way we can go back and attack them and we look good in the public's eye, right? Because, more than likely Iran's going to do something, right? I mean, they're just not going to sit around and not do anything. There's thousands of people marching, if not millions, marching on the streets. They're upset. So, we assassinated one of their people. So this is just a setup for Iran to attack, for us to unleash our bombs and missiles at them. And this is just like, if I just came to your house and I broke in, I start raping your wife or your kid or whatever, of course you're going to get upset. Of course you're going to do something, right? So this is just a setup for Iran to retaliate, so therefore we can go in there and take over another country. I mean, if you think about how many countries we took on over in Middle East, it's ridiculous. Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran coming up, Yemen. There's so many. The list goes on. All right, sorry guys. This is what happens when you don't edit, you just freestyle. So the list goes on, guys, okay? The list goes on. And so we're not going to get into this. So the third reason is because we want to take over the head of the snake, because he knows how to defend, and we want the most experienced guy out, because our next move is we're going to wait for them to attack, just like Pearl Harbor, right? Big Brother knew Pearl Harbor was going to happen, but they needed that to have the feel for what they were going to do next. And the same thing is happening. They broke into someone's home, they raped their kids or their wives, and now they're waiting for the male to attack, and then so they could come in and beat the shit out of them and say, look, it was totally illegal. And these are my opinions, right? Now, why do they want to do all this stuff, right? Same reasons why we've done the same things with Latin America. Why did CIA go over there and overthrow so many different countries' leaders? Well, we wanted their natural resources. Same thing is happening in Iran. We want the natural resources there. What we want is to install a puppet leader. What we want in Venezuela is to install a puppet leader, okay? Now, we go and campaign as, we're freedom fighters and we're democracy and we want to free people. But that's just the colonial collage, because no one in their right mind is going to think that people with guns that come to your home are here to liberate you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I came to your home right now, me and my 10 friends with guns and ski masks and broke the door in, do you think I'm here to liberate you? Okay, think about that. If someone came to America and knocked your door in right now, do you think they're here to liberate you? No. That's not how it works. Liberation doesn't come with guns and missiles, guys. Liberation comes from love. Like, we in America are the centerpiece, the power of the global. Everyone wants to be like us. So instead of getting in the center and showing compassion, showing love, right, versus bullying, then we could have people emulate us, and therefore they want to be more like us, democratic, right? If you believe that, because even me and your rights are getting stripped away as more fear mongering comes, as more of this terrorist bad guys. I mean, they have a new word every decade, right? Sometimes it's called communist, sometimes it's called but terrorist. But the whole idea is to keep you and me into fear, right? To put you into indoctrination schools that brainwash you, that you want to just consume. Now, many of you guys may watch this and say, look, dude, this guy is crazy. That's because you're brainwashed, right? You're brainwashed. You think it's okay to go kill thousands of millions of people and say, hey, you know what, dude, we're here to free you. Okay, that no one believes that crap, man, right? Or you're, I don't think you guys watching me are brainwashed, but I think majority of people are. They watch CNN, they watch Fox, they watch the average news, and whatever they tell them, they just regurgitate it back like it was a school test or something. You have to memorize everything and just say it back, right? And that shows the lack of masculinity in America, because a strong man, right, will think for himself. A strong individual, a man or a woman, will be able to be sufficient by himself. Like, I never borrow money from bankers because I don't need them. I can just create it through my imagination. But if I was a weak man, what society wants me to be, I'd be sticking out my hand to put it on my credit card, or stick it out in my hand, or to get a loan to start a business, okay? And I've never done that because I'm a strong individual. Now, it doesn't mean I don't have faults or I'm perfect. No, none of that, okay? What it means is that I'm a man. I have masculinity, and you do too. But we've been dumbed down in school to obey the teacher, the principal, not to think for ourselves. And in society today, if you're a strong man, then people don't like you because you go against the grain. And if you want to have success, you got to go against the grain. I mean, that's as simple as that. You can't be part of the grain. You got to go, when everyone's going zag, you got to zig. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know how to explain it. Same thing when it comes into investing in real estate. Same thing that comes into investing in businesses. People that make it are the people that don't follow the herd. I don't know how to explain it. And if you're not following the herd, then you're going to be an outcast, and you got to deal with that because you're not going to look like everyone. You're not going to say the same thing. You're not going to be consuming like everyone else is going to be consuming. You're not going to be borrowing like everyone else is going to be borrowing. You're going to say stuff that totally everyone else is thinking this way, and you're saying, no, it's going to be this way, right? Because a strong man will determine your freedom, right? And in America, they don't want us to be a real man. They want us to be machines. And and not only in America, in every other country. Because if you're a machine, then you bow down to Big Brother and you do whatever they say, right? And I personally like liberty, and I like small Big Brother. I don't like Big Brother to be so big and to be up in our ass telling us what we can do and what we cannot do, and just to be men, just to be free, right? I believe in freedom. I believe in love. I believe in respecting people. I believe in, if you have a different opinion than me, that's great. I still respect you as long as you're not an asshole, right? And you don't step into my privacy and tell me what I should do because you have an opinion or value, and then we're all cool. And I have respect for everyone. I have respect for the Jews. I have respect for the Muslims. I have respect for the Christians, the Buddhists, everyone, right? Because we're all the same. When I say we, I'm talking about the people of the world, because it's, we, right? And I believe in world peace, and I believe in free trade. I believe in prosperity. I believe in your kids and my kids should have a better life than we left them. I don't believe in that me or you or some kind of humans can destroy everything, the planet, by one freaking bomb, dude. Not only all the humans in that country, but all the humans are going to come in the next 100 years, plus every living animal, every living creature, every living plant, because we think we're humans. That's a weak motherfucker, right? A strong person, a man, right, does not want to destroy everything they see. They're not scared of everything they see. And so my message today is that what they're saying on TV about why they're assassinating another person is totally false, in my opinion, and it's just gravitated to make more money for the elites. If it's the TV shows, if it's Big Brother, if it's the Lockheed Martin, the Merchants of Death, because they make money while our friends come back in body bags, and it's not their kids. I guarantee you, if it was all the elite kids to go get shot first, we would never have wars. If it was the elite kids of Iran that would go get shot first, if it's the Koreans, if it's the Chinese, anytime they wanted to go fight, the first thing they did is they killed their own kids in every country. Then their kids, like the president's kids and the empire's kids, the dictators' kids, every time there was going to be a war, and I think there wouldn't be any wars because the people in power don't want to see their kids killed, right? But they're okay with other people's kids getting killed. They're okay of nuking people and destroying, the planet. I mean, crazy, man. I mean, we need to put our money and energy into America, not Lockheed Martin, not bullets and planes. We need to put our energy into saving the homeless people. We need to put our energy into creating cures for diseases. We need to put our energy into where me and you don't have to work. We got to put our energy into getting rid of the central bankers and the printing of money. We can put our energy into having better life. We can put it into having cleaner water, better highways, better systems, versus creating bombs, right, that destroy people, that allow us to become bullies. Because because of our military, we feel like we're the biggest, blah blah blah, and we should bully everyone. And that's just not the way strong are. The really strong are not bullies. They're compassionate. Only little bitches, only like people that have are always scared or always so anxious to go do something, right? But if you have power of yourself, right, you're powerful, you're not going to be always ready to go bully someone. You actually don't care, you know. Like, for example, I can sit next to a light and some guy will pull up to my car and I have a SL 500. I know I could smoke this guy, right? So I'm not going to race the guy, dude. Why would I need to race him? He needs to prove to me that he's fast, whatever, but I don't care in my car. And besides, I'm just giving you a simple example, not that I like to race or anything, but what I'm saying is, if you're powerful and you know it, you don't have to flex all the time because you know it, right? Who cares what other people say, right? You already know what you were made out of, right? It's only when you have insufficiencies, when you have deficiencies, when you don't believe in yourself, when you know you're not powerful because you consume so much and you need everyone else's shit, that's why you're flexing so much, right? You're flexing and all these people are dying and you're coming as freedom fighters. And the same thing happened with Columbus, right? If you thought Columbus came to the natives with bring democracy, and then that's the same thing's happening right now with Big Brother. Our empire, our printing of money has allowed us to kill millions and billions of people all over, from Yemen to Africa to China. I mean, you name it, guys. And has it done some good? Absolutely too. And what I want to do is I want to focus on us doing good versus us doing evil, right? I want us to take our money, our energy, and do good, so we become more powerful and we could have be in power forever, in a sense, versus the other way around, that, you know, where we're losing the petrodollar, that we're losing the credibility of the dollar, which will bring misery to everyone in America, considering we live in a debt-based society, that majority of people don't have cash and they're just living paycheck to paycheck. It would be very, very hard times for the average person in America, and I don't want that, right? Kids gonna come in body bags, and it's gonna be a hard time for the working class in any country that's subscribed to fractional reserve lending like the Fed does here, right? Guys, click the like button. Much love to you. Let me know, what do you think? Why do you think we killed that dude? Not saying that dude was a good dude or a bad dude, because God knows, man. Anyone that's top of the military and they're ordering people to die, they're not good dudes, man. Peace.